Alrighty, test that. Alright, I think we're good. Good evening everybody and welcome to the finale of the Race Spec Tier 4 Pacific Series in. I am Bodhod and I'll be here for one last time as we walk through this final round. It's going to be sad to say goodbye to these guys, but it's been a super season. Really enjoyed spectating it, coming along for the rise, so it's been fun. You get one more chance to see what these guys get up to on the track. Now, in terms of the championship, both the drivers and constructors has already been rounded up. So Macedonian won the championship last week. He's got a 39-point gap to Mofo, who was firmly in P2, and then a big gap to Lunacy, and then a big gap again back to Suskus, and a big gap again to Artie Cheng. So the top 5 are all set for the championship. Macedonian from Mofo, from Lunacy, from Suskus, from Artie Cheng's. And then after that it does get fairly close. You've got BMAC, who hasn't rocked up for a little while, but then from P7 down, Honest Cook down the race to Shumatada, all very close, so that is definitely up for grabs still in this championship. But the big boys in this tier have settled it. In terms of constructors, Haas are well ahead, I think about 150 points. Ferrari and Renault have only a 20-point gap though, so that's still up for grabs for P2 in the constructors, but that's going to be difficult, I think, to claw that back considering the form of both teams, how competitive they've been all season. So we'll jump on board with someone on a lap. I know Mofo is not on a lap because I believe there is an agreement for Macedonian and Mofo to attempt a last to first challenge. Seeing as the season is wrapped up in terms of the championship, they've both agreed to have a little bit of fun. They'll both be starting towards the back of the field, and we'll see how high they can get. So that'll be a bit of fun to watch them try and do that. I wonder how high they can get. There are a couple of strategies that can work out around this track, so I'm interested to see what they choose to do and how that all plays out. So that'll be a bit of fun, and we'll provide a couple other guys the chance to get a couple of really good results, at least for qualifying. We might see a new face on pole in the top 3 if those quick guys are going to be starting towards the back. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. I'm sure it'll be a little bit of fun for everyone. Anyway, we should talk about the track. Abu Dhabi, one of Herman Tilke's tracks. In theory it should be a fantastic track, long straights, technical sections, fast bits, slow bits. However, in real life it's proven to be pretty difficult to race around. Though on the game it's actually not too bad to go wheel to wheel against. There are a couple of places you can go side by side, a couple of places you can make moves, a few places you can really send it in on the brakes. So it's not the worst racetrack actually to race on, even though I know a lot of people are pretty 50-50 about whether they enjoy it or not, but it usually makes for a half decent league race, so we should be looking forward to that. Day-night race. I think the race starts in the twilight, so it'll start with the sun out and ends with the sun gone. So that always makes for a little bit of fun as well. Getting to see these cars in the dark. There's only a couple of night races on the calendar, so it always makes things a bit interesting. So a couple of things to think about there. Briefly mentioned the strat. In terms of strategy, there are a couple of things you can do. The soft, medium, soft is probably what we're going to see most people do. A 2-stop strat. You can make a 1-stop soft to hard, but the hards aren't that quick. And you can also try a soft to medium, but that would only really work if you had brand new tyres in both sets and don't mind sliding around a fair bit one of those old ones. So I think the 2-stop, the soft, medium, soft, or possibly the soft, medium, medium, they'd probably be pretty similar to each other, and probably be the best way to do it. So we'll see what some of the guys do, particularly these guys qualifying outside the top 10 might throw on a set of medium, see how long they can stretch it, or possibly just have a stint and then go soft, bang for the rest of the race. We'll have to see what they choose to do. But plenty of options. As Artie Cheng's just jumped on board for the end of that, is currently leading us away with a 134.5. He's 6 tenths clear of Lajardo. A couple of yellows around the track. That looks like Rocky. He has spun it really easy to do actually. Through turn 2 and 3 as you go up the hill of 2 and then over the hill right in the apex of turn 3. It can be quite easy to unsettle the car. Car gets nice and light over that hill and you're turning and flat out. So really easy to bin it. We'll probably see a few people do that in qualifying and possibly even the race on the full fuel. But yeah, one of the challenges of the circuit, probably the most difficult section in terms of keeping it clean. So it'll be interesting to see how they go with that. Let's see if we can find anyone on the lap. Ninja Penguin we saw is not a lap. Hotman Dan's in the pits, Lahardo's in the pits. So Nick Mann might be the next person to start a lap. Or is Open Boy ahead of him? No, I think Nick Mann's ahead, so I might run on board with the McLaren for his lap. Nice to see Ninja Penguin back in, but he's been missing for a fair few weeks. I think he got a podium in the first race actually. Him and Lunacy were having a great old scrap in Australia, if I remember correctly, for a podium place. He hasn't been able to race for a lot of the season, but it's good to see him back. But we'll ride with the McLaren here. Looks like he's going to start a flying lap. Coming across the line to start. We'll ride on board. Turn 1, a bit difficult. Want to get as far right as possible. Hit that apex on the left with 3rd or 4th gear. Get on the power as soon as possible. Then one of the more difficult sections, as we mentioned, turn 2 up the hill, turn 3 over the hill down. Don't want to take too much curb. Also don't want to run too wide there. Those curbs are quite bumpy. Heavy braking into 4. Get the car nice and slow. Sector 1 splits right there, so it's really only one corner. Get the car turned around for what is quite an awkward hairpin actually. You never feel like the line's quite right. Does fairly well there though. On the power as soon as possible, that is the important thing. DRS open, and it's a bit of a weight. Straight has a bit of a kink, so you don't want to go too far right, because then you have to turn the wheel, which will slow you down. Heavy braking probably just on 100 metres slightly before if you're on the mediums perhaps. Now you want to get as much on the power as you can, as early as you can through there. Into the second DRS zone, probably just as good an overtaking zone as the first one. We'll probably see most of the overtakes towards the end of here. We'll see Nick Mann running quite wide, possibly not quite maximising the possible time. To this triple chicane, triple chicane, don't want to cut any of that, don't run one wide there. Now into the most technical section of the track, sector 3, not really any overtaking zone, so it's about carrying speed. Flat out, and then hard on the brakes, probably the difficult braking zone on the track, trying to get the car turned into that apex. Now under the famous hotel, that'll be nice and glowing under the night lights. Maximise speed through here, possibly to take that a bit quicker, but on your first lap you can understand why you wouldn't. Now difficult right-hander, second last corner, can't run wide at all, it's an instant invalidation. Final corner quite tricky, you want to get the car pointed in round the final corner and across the line. 36.8, so at the bottom at the moment, but on the medium tyres, so we'll probably find a fair bit more time when he puts on those softs. But that's a lap of Dhabi. Not a bad lap to do a hot lap around actually, I find. I don't mind it too much. As mentioned, it does have a little bit of everything, which makes it interesting to say the least. Although I know it's not everyone's kettle of fish. Now Lunacy here looks like he's doing a hot lap, probably likely to get pole if Macedonian and Mofo are both starting at the back. Lunacy comfortable 3rd in the championship. See what he can do in terms of qualifying. A little bit deep. Oh, he's lost the back end slightly, but manages to hang on to that. Probably a couple of tenths down the drain there, but still got a lot of corners to make up time, so not the end of the world. Misses that apex slightly, probably not ideal, and he's going to peel in the pits. Rumour has it that Lunacy may do the last first as well, but not too sure. Just getting the feel of the tyres, I guess, which is perfectly fine. Pripta looks like he's on a lap. Not sure if anyone ahead of him is on a lap. He might jump there. Looks like Bretho's on one, so I might go with Bretho and then jump back to Predictor to watch the end of his lap. What are we looking for? Fitted, there we go. Lunacy has retired, so he's not setting the time, so he's going to do a last first as well. So the 3 of them will come charging through the field. Another notable absence, Suskas had a really strong end to the season, he's not here as well, I didn't mention, so I think Ninja Penguin's got his seat. Bretho across the line, probably will be pole time, and it is just 5.11 compared to Artie Cheng's 5.22 there. So that's a good lap there from Bretho, provisional P1. I'll jump back down to the Renault as promised. Coming to the last sector now, jump off board, have a look at some of these camera shots. That's not too bad a one, actually, so doing us kindly there. Nice little view of the hotel. got some yellows. I think that's just a slow moving car behind, so don't have to worry too much about that. More notifications, great. Flipped around the final couple of corners. Teammate's Mofo tonight, so he's going to have a role to play in winning the constructors. Flipped will come across the line, improved by a 10th, but stay in P7, so not too bad there. Possibly a little bit more time to find though. Looks like Lahardo is on a lap as well, coming through sector 3 now. He missed that left apex slightly, but on the power there, looks nice and tidy there. So see if we can hang on to this lap. Coming round tricky braking zone, not run too deep, that wasn't too bad there. A couple more yellows around the track. I think that is just slow cars. I will flip to them if there seems to be anyone stationary. Although it does look like there's a Williams, possibly F1 boy, might have gone around but managed to get out of the way. We'll hard around the final corner. Oh, gets a bit loose there. He's probably not going to improve because of it. Yeah, that's a big mistake there. Not ideal. So it was F1 boy. He doesn't seem to be on a lap at the moment. Who is? Hotman Dan's not. Train's not. ASAP Rocky is coming around the final corner. He's almost a second up actually. So this could be a really strong time here. P2, 34.5. So good lap there from ASAP Rocky on the front row provisionally. He can be one that can capitalise on those quick guys starting towards the back. So we'll have to see what he can do during the race. Takes out a barrier board there. Down the racer is invalidated. F1 boy I think just started a lap, and Honest Crook is doing what he normally does and wait till the last minute. So have to see what Crookie can do there. F1 boy might stick with third. Down the race is being disqualified for blocking the pit lane. Right. Oh, he's crashed the pit lane. That's oh, that's probably the most embarrassing thing you could possibly do. So he'll be starting right at the back now. So he'll be doing the last first as well, and he's actually blocking someone. Is he? Is that? Oh, I couldn't find him. Who was it blocking? I thought it was a red car, but it might not be. He was blocking the pit lane. That was quite funny. But Dad and Racer now are going to be starting right at the back, which is really far from ideal for him. Looks like Huddy changed his going to start a lap on the mediums. He's going to see if he can improve on his soft, which would be no easy feat, but we'll see what he can do. We were on board with F1 boy, but we'll go back to there though because he hasn't set a lap yet in the Williams. Sole Williams for tonight, no teammate. 14 runners, which isn't too bad at all. It's good enough to make a good race, which is good. So we'll see what he can do. F1 boy, come around the final couple of corners, takes that pretty nicely, get the power nice and early, a couple of yellows ahead. I think that might be the Mercedes behind, just getting out of the way. But F1 boy will finish the lap, doesn't invalidate, which is good. It will be P7, 35.4, it's not too bad there. As a rocket behind, yeah, was just coming into the pits. ID Changs is still pushing on. We'll stick with him. He's currently 2/10 up actually on this time, so if you can improve on mediums, that would be phenomenal. But it may be difficult because Sector 3 is really where the tyres are going to come in, and he's actually down in Sector 2 split, so I don't think RD Changs is really going to improve here. Unless he can pull out an absolute wizard Sector 3, which is going to be tough with those mediums. But we'll see if he has the ability to do it. He might be able to get one more soft running if he pits this lap, so we'll have to see if he just starts to bail on this lap. Maybe he feels he made a mistake down here, which is why he's still persevering. But I don't think it's going to be quite good enough. The softs are really going to be that much better in Sector 3. In Sector 1 it's only one corner, Sector 2 it's all straights. And he will bail out, so probably the right call there if he wants to go get pole. His best lap is currently on the... Oh no, it is on the medium, so he has improved. His first lap at least is good enough, so he might end up staying because P3 on mediums is fantastic actually. So Ali Cheng looks like he's in a reasonable position actually, which is good. And we might flick to Nick Mann to start the lap. I think he might be just about the only person on a lap. Actually Cookie's on a lap. We might jump to Honest Crook because we haven't seen him yet. Oh, get nice and slidey out of the hairpin. Probably not the thing you want to be doing as a Red Bull, getting out of the way there. That's Lahardo. Currently P5, I expect him to possibly challenge for that pole looking at recent pace. Looking nice and tidy. Just make sure the stream sounds up. Looks good, okay. Honest Crook coming down the back straight now. 2 minutes left in the session, so if he messes up this lap, he'll have one more go. But you'd rather not mess it up, I don't think. Hard braking, see if you can get the car turned in on the power. Don't run wide. Possibly could carry a tiny bit more mid-corner speed there, but that's okay. Same there as well. Possibly just trying to stay away from those curves. Do not spin or invalidate. Being a first lap is probably the best thing to do. So it's an AlphaTauri. Possibly having a bit of a celebration with some donuts on the outlap. Probably not ideal. As long as Crook's invalidated, he's gonna have to go again now. He's got one more chance, unless he wants to start right at the back as well. The good thing with so many people retiring is that you can start whatever tyres you want. So if Honest Crook even gets one lap in, he can start in those mediums. So all Honest Crook needs to do is not invalidate this lap, no matter how slow it is, and it will be P10. So let's see what he can do about that. We did see Nick Man before. He's going to bail out in this lap, so Nick Man will be done. Oh, he's missed the pit lane. That's funny. I'm guilty of doing that. But yeah, that's not ideal for Nick Man, but oh well, he's going to have to do another lap on those softs, which is kind of funny. Who's further ahead? Bretho is not improving. He's chilling out in the middle sector. ASAP Rocky is coming around the hairpin. I think Predictor is behind him, just trying to see who's going to come across the line first. I think it might be ASAP Rocky. So we'll stay with the Mercedes man. Actually, no, it's not Nick Man. It might be on the lap. So it will be ASAP Rocky, the first one to finish their final runs. Currently P2. He's doing a bit of a weave on the straight. Hello, if you are listening to the stream. We are watching you, so no pressure. Only 2 thousandths off pole at the moment, so only needs to find a tiny bit of time. Didn't quite see the split there, but we'll see what we can do in the last sector. Cost that tiny bit, which you are allowed to do. But can't do that too much, otherwise Cody's will say no. Heavy braking, right on board actually. I want to see what kind of lines he takes. Nice and tight through there. Getting the power soon. This corner is important to get the power down. Does okay there. Possibly could carry a tiny bit more speed. Fourth gear, that was a good corner there. Now around the final corner, get the car pointed in early. Don't miss the apex. He hasn't done there. So tidy last couple of corners. Can he get pole? He can. 1.5 tenths improvement. So well done there for ASAP Rocky. Now it's up to the challengers. Predictor has invalidated. Is that Nick Man behind? He's invalidated as well. So the next person will be, I think it's the Haas of Ninja Penguin. Yep. We'll see what he can do. Can he challenge for pole? A bit slidey out of the corner there. Possibly a couple of tenths down the drain, but push on with the lap. Currently sitting in P6, would like to improve, I reckon, and he will improve but stays P6. So he's stuck there. Hodop Mandan, Lahado stayed P5 as well. Should mention Hodop Mandan just invalidates there. Artie Cheng's coming onto the car, I was going to say castle section, it's definitely not a castle section. He's following Bretho. Bretho is just invalidated there, just drifted wide and he didn't need to, that's a shame. Artie Cheng's will be the last person who can challenge for pole. Can he do it? He definitely can. 134.1 on pole, not too surprising at all considering his medium lap, that he could pull out that kind of time on the softs, but he will take pole, will Artie Cheng's. A little bit surprised if perhaps he didn't choose to stay on those mediums, but with that kind of pace, you'd probably rather be on the front row with a clear track in front of you. But that will do us. Artie Cheng's leads from ASAP Rocky and Bretho, P1, 2, 3. Hodop Mandan in P4, Lijado in P5. Possibly could have expected a tiny bit higher, but we'll see what we can do in the race. Ninja Penguin on a comeback in P6, taking over the hot seat of Suscus. Honest Crook P7 on medium, so he has found a bit of time there. F1 Boy, Predictor and Nick Man round out the top 10. Mofo, Lunacy and Macedonian all agreeing to do a last to first or close enough to last to first. They can't all be last, can they? Due to their championships being wound up. P1, 2, 3 settled, and Dan the Racer with one of the most embarrassing crashes you're ever going to see into the pit lane entry, being disqualified. Can't be doing that. He's learnt the hard way, so he'll be doing a last to question mark as well. We'll see what he can do in the racing point. Far from ideal, but we'll see what he can do. As we get ready for the race, I wonder if we're going to see any rain. Ooh, let's see if we get any weather. Of course we won't because it's Abu Dhabi, but we can hope. No, it looks nice and dry as normal. We'll wait for these guys to get their thingies sorted and then we'll put up the data. if anyone's got any predictions in the chat, let me know. I don't reckon we've had a single prediction since round 3, so please, I ask every week, tell me who you reckon's going to win. Can any of those top 3 in the championship manage to get a podium or a win? Let me know what you think. I guess a Frodo's not enticing enough. I'll get you 2 Frodos, okay? How about that? It can be 2 of any flavour of your choosing. So please let me know if you have a prediction. As these guys get loaded, we'll get the data up. In terms of my own prediction, it's probably better I remain unbiased, but we'll see how we go. So Mofo's gone softs, Lucy Macedonian on the mediums, down the race on the mediums, for those guys with free tyre choice. So Mofo's going to have a quick first stint. The other 3 will be slightly slower, but those mediums will be nice to race around anyway. Mediums probably are the best race tyre, although the softs do hold out a fair while, so I'd like to see how long they can stretch those. Top 10 minus Oz Crook will all have those qualifying softs, so they'll be a little bit more worn than those of Mofo. So Mofo will probably see making a fair few inroads in the first couple of laps on those fresh tyres. We have a prediction, thank you so much, London Bum Boys. Is that one person or is that a collection? Can't quite tell. ASAP to win. P2 had a really good qualifying there. Almost had pole position, so I wouldn't put it past him. He's got plenty of fiery people behind though, trying to hunt him down, so we'll see what the Mercedes man can do, round out the season on a high. Hopefully for his sake he can get the pole, or the win, sorry, after just missing pole, that's what I meant to say. So we'll see what he can do. Artie Cheng's looks pretty nice in qualifying, setting a good medium lap as well, so he's going to be hard to beat. Then you've got those 3 championship leaders, Mofo, Lucy, Mastone, will be coming through strong, so it'll be a matter of whether they can hold on, those front guys, to see how long. Oh, you are London Bomb Boys. Well, that's pretty embarrassing. Can confirm ASAP Rocky is London Bum Boys. So he reckons he'll win. I'm liking the self-confidence there. I do want to ask why your name is London Bum Boys. But that's a conversation for another day, maybe. Well, good luck to you then, in that case. As we've got what's happening here, Bretho is decided to hold everyone up, which I'm sure is not going to be too appreciated. Yeah, so I might need to have a word with Bretho. Because you do have to leave 10 car lengths, I believe, because of the formation lap, and it's definitely not 10, unless that were 10 double limousines. I reckon maybe that's what he's going for. But in terms of 10 Formula 1 cars, it's definitely not. But looks like they're finally lining up to the grid now. Leave the front 2 waiting around a little bit. I think we're all good to go. ASAP Rocky's left, so that's not going to help him win. Hopefully he's got a spare invite and he can get back in. In terms of winning, that's not a good start, as all the cars are diagonal on the grid. The game will straighten them out. There we go. Alright, so ASAP Rocky is a AI car, I think, for now. He's just joined again, but he'll probably miss the first sector or so. We have 5 red lights. Fairly long wait. We are underway. It looks like Artie Cheng's gets off the line pretty well, as does Holtman down in P4. He's going to go down the inside into P3, into P2. Bretho gets up to P3 as well. ASAP Rocky's lost a fair few positions off the start. There's a bit of fighting at the back. Looks like a bit of movement here. ASAP Rocky is dropping through the field like a stone. We've got a bit of side-by-side here. Nick Mann, a little bit of contact there between, I think that is Predictor and a Haas. There's a Haas round. Is that Macedonian? I think it might have been. He's managed to save it, but did he have damage? He does have damage. That's massive. His first attempt on the mediums as well. That's not going to help him. He's got Lucy right behind him as well. Not sure why my clicker's not working. There we go, it looks a bit better. So F1 Boy Lahardo going side by side. F1 Boy down the inside. Gets overcooks it though by a long way. And and he's gone round as well. And Ninja Penguin's going to sneak through. And F1 Boy's falling through the field. Can't quite get to it. There you go, doing some celebratory donuts. So there's not much to celebrate about. Nick Mann's in the back of Honest Crook here as well. As we've got that's a picture and a half, isn't it? So many cars side to side. You've got more contact there. I think it's Murphy trying to sneak through Nick Mann. Now Dan the Racer is that wants a piece of it. No, his teammate wants a piece of it. Macedonian struggling, trying to get through on Mofo. A little bit of contact there, but nothing too bad, as there is more chaos happening behind. I think that's F1 Board going around again, and Dan the Racer's gone around too. So a lot of chaos happening at the start here. I wonder if ASAP Rocky's managed to take over his car again. He has lost a fair few spots off the start. But it is iRacing who leads them away on lap 1 from Hotman Dan, who's made a couple of places. Breatho stays P3, jumping rock, but losing out to Hotman Dan. Macedonian picks up a 3-second time penalty already, which is not ideal, as Breatho and Hotman Dan, that is just a glitch of the leaderboard, so we'll get the positions off because that's not going to be helpful. Take Lucy, Mofo still back there. Predictor he's ghosted out, wonder if he's lagged out. F1 Boy spun at the final corner again, which isn't going to help his race. He might have missed the pit lane as well, actually, as the leaderboard is just deciding to break down, so I can't really tell who's where. We'll jump back up to here though, I'm pretty sure this is the battle for the lead, yeah. Wow, big gap to Lajardo. Lajardo's made a mistake somewhere, possibly got some damage, and Yupeng was all over the back of him. Can he get the move done? Goes around the outside. Lajardo has front wing damage, so that explains a little bit. See that front end plate missing there, I think it was the left hand side. So he's going to struggle a little bit now. Ninja Payment up into P4 and gets 3 seconds for corner cutting very early on. So both Haas guys getting penalties as well as F1 Boy now. He's not had a good start at all. Honestly, for the mediums, he's now right alongside ASAP Rocky on the softs. I think ASAP Rocky's in control of that car now. Can he hold on? Yes, he can. So those mediums looking good. ASAP Rocky a little bit laggy, as you'd expect sometimes from just general online players. Like Nickman and Mofo getting nice and close as well. Mofo trying to squeeze through the inside. Nickman doesn't give it to him, as he doesn't have to at all. Now Mofo's going to try to go around the outside. Really difficult to go side by side. Mofo does have to back out there. Nickman goes on the brakes. Manages to get it stopped as well, so decent defending there for Nickman. Predictor and Lucy behind, having a bit of a tussle as well. Lucy down the inside, gets it done. Possibly cost himself a warning there though, but that's an important move there. Predictor down into P12. Ari Chang's looking quick. Looks like Armstrong and Lajardo having a side by side as well. Lajardo, oh, that's a Mercedes. ASAP Rocky's nearly binned it. And where's Lajardo? He's in the pit, so he's decided to pit off that soft tyre with that front wing damage as well. So really chaotic start. Been talking a lot. There's a lot of things happening. Oh, and ASAP Rocky's gone round, and he's thankfully ghosted, which means there's no big crashes. Just saw the end of that there, nice and hot. I'm not sure if he got nicked by a Renault. He's going to nearly get collected by someone else again. Let me check these Renault's front wings quickly. Might be a tiny touch. Mofo looks okay, and Predictor looks okay as well, so perhaps not. Mofo gets by Nickman here on the straight, so Nickman did what he could for as long as he could, but ultimately couldn't quite hold off as F1 Boy has retired in the pits after a really poor start. Oh, Nickman deep in the brakes, manages to just get it stopped in time. But yeah, lucky that happened there. Up the front, it is Hold Up and Dan chasing down Artie Cheng, so this battle looks nice and close. Looking pretty solid for now. Got the rest of the field settled down a tiny bit. The gaps are starting to stretch a little bit. So this is the biggest gap, the smallest gap here on track at the moment. Next smallest gap is Macedonian and Oscar Cook. So Macedonian with front wing damage, I believe still. We'll double check that again. That's not going to show us the front wing. He's now got Honest Cook, so those two are mediums. So that's a good track position already. The softs probably will be a bit quicker. Yeah, Macedonian does still have that front wing damage, so he's probably going to possibly pit in like lap 8 or lap 9 and do a soft medium to the end. I reckon that's possible. You could probably even pit like lap 6 or 5 if you really want to stretch it. I reckon that might be the way to go for Macedonian, because he's going to start falling through the field with the likes of Mofo and Nickman. Lunacy behind as ASAP Rocky has retired from the session. He's put that in the wall on the track, and it is a full safety car. So that's going to help Macedonian in terms of not losing too much time. Lajardo's going to get a chance to catch up as well, and Dan the Racer will catch the pack as well, but that's big there. Lap 4. Now, what do these guys do? I reckon the soft guys will all have to pit. You should be able to do a medium soft to the end of the race. But if you're not confident on that, you can do a medium. The guys on the mediums will probably have to stay out. So like Lunacy will probably stay out and maybe try one soft now. Or possibly go soft, depending on what he feels like doing. As Nickman's exploring the track, Lunacy's up ahead. But an early safety car has really thrown a spanner into the works in terms of the strat. Artie Cheng gets a relieving gap. It's a bit of time to settle down again after being under pressure from Hot and Dan. Breatho's still been there in P3 as well. Haven't mentioned him yet really in the race. Ninja Payment P4 with the penalty already. In terms of pitters, I wouldn't be surprised to see these top 4 pit off their softs, because they're only probably only be good for another 2-3 laps anyway, so you may as well just take the pain of the stop now while everyone else is going slowly, be able to catch the back of the pack. So I would expect those guys to pit as ASAP Rocky is left. So unfortunately the London Bum Boys not taking victory today. Yeah, to finish first, you have to finish. That's not quite gone well. Oh, well, he changes to put it in the pit wall. Oh, and again, and he's been disqualified. Oh my goodness. And now he's reversing the pit lane, his AI. This is... Oh, now his AI is putting him in the wall. Okay, this is a sight to see. Artie Chanks has been disqualified out of the lead for putting it in the pit wall, and he's blocked pretty much the entire pit lane with the AI, and I wonder if anyone else has gotten damage from it or anything like that. But pretty much the entire field is expected to pit except for Honest Crook. But yeah, okay. I'm sure that's not the way you would have wanted to finish the season there, but that'll be it for Artie Chanks. In terms of the standings, I'm pretty sure he was in a fight still for a position. No, Artie Chanks was stuck in P5. So in terms of the championship, it's not going to hurt him too much, but I mean, I think you'd rather finish your race, or at least DNF with a bit of pride, rather than with one of the most embarrassing crashes you're ever going to see, which multiple people have now been subject to. So we already have 3 people out of the race, 11 runners left. Macedonian and Lunacy did pit off their mediums. Macedonian would have repaired that front damage. So now we're going to restart their last to first, 10th and 11th, pair of them both on fresh softs. The other player, Mofo, he's in P6 on fresh mediums, so Mofo's had a decent start. He's going to be in track position now, and mediums as well. In terms of strat though, Honest Crook's electing to stay out, which is probably not the worst call. He might try in that one stop. These safety car laps will help a lot with saving those tyres, as those tyres are going to be really dead if he does try that one stop. Otherwise he can do 2 soft stints after this, 2 quick stints. But it's probably the right call to stay out for Honest Crook. Leaves his options open a little bit. In track position, which is really important. Down the rest being the other one to not pit. Similar idea, only 4 laps on those mediums. He was disqualified from the qualifying, so he did start last, so those mediums would have been fresh at the start of the race, so probably the right call as well from stay out. Everyone else pitting. I think Lunacy and Macedonian, they did start on those mediums, so they put on the softs. They have now fitted both compounds. They'll help for the rest of the race. They don't have to worry about, or they're not so restricted with the strategy depending on what happens in terms of more safety cars, pace damage, that kind of thing. So those two probably the right call to go to softs as well, but they are right at the back. They're going to have to do a fair bit of work, and also be quite careful. They're going to have a lot more grip than those medium runners. So Macedonian and Lunacy, they should be charging through quite strongly, but caution might be the way to go in order to ensure no damage on the part of anyone. So we'll see what they can do in terms of charging through the field. As mentioned in qualifying, a couple of places you can make moves, so if they wait for the right opportunities, they should be able to make up ground fairly quickly, considering their pace as well. So lap 6, safety car will be in this lap. The whole field is now behind it, so we'll have, how long is that, 22 laps left of full racing, which will be good. Now, I'm just trying to think about what these guys are going to do for strat, the medium runners. I still think a medium to soft would be the right way to go, but we might see a few guys do a medium to medium if they cook their tyres. But I think a medium to soft would be the way to go. Losing Macedonian will do a soft medium for the end here. So everyone's probably going to be on the same strat now, which is, I think I also mentioned in qualifying, you can do multiple strats here, but with safety car it's kind of leveled that all out. So everyone will probably be doing the same thing. So it will be a straight race to the finish, which will be good. Means the pace will win out. Looks like the safety car has now pulled away, so we'll jump to the leader. not Holtman Dan, sorry, Honest Crook Holtman Dan is P2. We'll see when Honest Crook decides to go. We might actually ride on board here with Holtman Dan to see at what points Honest Crook goes. Safety car's already coming around the second last corner now, so can't go yet. And I think he's just pulling into the pit lane now, so anytime from now he can go. Looks like he might wait till late to do it. It's gone. There you go. So very, very late there for Honest Crook. He gets the move off the line there. Looks like Dan the Race has lost a bit of ground though. Ninja Penguin's going to be right behind him. Top 3 stay as are. Breatho's right in the back of this train as well. He might run on board here with Ninja Penguin though, who's all over the back of Dan the Racer. We've got special super fan Arjun in the chat. Nice of you to pop in and say hi. Have a good Christmas, mate. For you. Yeah, super fan in the chat. Been tuning into a lot of these tier 4 races, not missing out on any of the action, which is what we like to see. So good stuff for you, Arjun. So Mofo right in the back, Ninja Penguin here as well though. Mofo might be most likely to make a move actually. The Ninja Penguin looking like he's using a fair bit of battery. Mofo will settle in behind. Lucy's already make up a position at the back there. Look at Macedonian might try and follow through. They're going to be side by side I think now. Macedonian Predictor, and Macedonian's going to have the tie grip to go around the outside, which will turn to the inside for the next corner, and he's already through. So those two already making up spots there. Up the front, down the racer. Managed to catch up the top 3 again after having not so great a restart, but he won't want to let them go because those top 3, if they can break away, then they'll be pretty difficult to catch I think at this point. But just hanging on there. Ninja Penguin looks like he's still got plenty of pace. Top 3 looking nice. Everyone looking pretty tidy through there. Mofo's got plenty of pace. He's all over the back. He's pushing Ninja Penguin through these last couple of corners. So Mofo looks like he wants to get a move on with things. With those other 2 behind him. He's going to be down the inside of the last corner, which is not usually an overtaking spot. Oh, and he hasn't been spotted by Ninja Penguin. He's going to have to catch that. Ninja Penguin probably needed to leave a bit of space. I think Mofo was barely enough alongside to be owed some space. Hopefully that's not some minor damage there. I know we sometimes can't see the light yellow damage on the visuals, but we'll see what Mofo can do in terms of another move. Ninja Penguin probably didn't expect it. Oh, there's a big crash at the back. That is Lunacy spinning out and around. Just saw that in the background there. That is big there for Lunacy. I think he's just lost on the curb. I'm not sure if he would have hit anyone. That's really big there for Lunacy. He's now going to need another safety car to get back in the fight, I think. Big damage there. He's probably going to have to do another 2 stops. Don't want to go on those hards. So that's a shame there. Looks like these 3 though still going at it, not quite close enough for them to make a move. Mofo looks really quick in that 3rd sector, so if he can get the move done here, he may be able to stretch away. Ninja Penguin looks like he gets a reasonable exit without being fantastic. Mofo's going to use that battery now. Behind the Macedonian, Lajardo's off positions. Macedonian making up even more ground, but Mofo around the outside. Can he get it done on the brakes? Ninja Penguin's going to go nice and late, but I think Mofo's going to have the prowess on the outside, and he does. Yeah, so Mofo gets through. Really, really nice move there. And now he's got the racing point of Dan the Racer ahead, who has now dropped 2 seconds to those front 3. So we were mentioning that Dan the Racer was hanging on fairly well, but with those old medium tyres, they're now looking like they're giving up a bit. Oh, isn't Penguin's giving Mofo a tiny love tap there. Holtman Dan picks up 3 seconds, and these 2 are having side by side here. This is really interesting. You don't normally see racing through there, and Holtman Dan's going to squeeze through, and that's going to allow Breatho to have a look down the inside as well. There's going to be a tiny bit of contact perhaps, and Breatho's going to try and squeeze through for the lead. Really unconventional spot to be making overtake. We're doing alright with it so far. Breatho, can he hold around the outside? Not quite. Oh, there's going to be a bit of contact. Honest Crook gives him a bit of a bump out wide. Probably right in the limit of legal, but he's going to go a bit deep there. Breatho's going to get a switch back. Oh, there's contact. They need to get off each other. They do manage to just. But these are going really, really hard. Breatho is going to cut the corner. That's really illegal. Breatho, you need to pull your head in, mate. He's managed to back off there. And all Mofo's down the inside now as well. I'm not sure if Breatho got a touch under the brake, which is why he went off, but looks like a pretty blatant corner cut. Deserved that 3 seconds, but he's now going to lose out to Mofo. No love lost between the pair of them, and Dan the Rest is not quite close enough to make a move. But Mofo, Nate under the brakes, Breatho even later, but can't quite get around the outside there. So Breatho's lost a position now to Mofo, and what all these battling's done is allowed Holtman down to get right into the lead again. Oz and Breatho actually did a pretty decent job at not taking each other out. Wheels locked there going through a corner. It's never going to be any good, as up ahead you see Mofo getting through on his crook. for P2. So Mofo looking really nice there. I'm sure Bretho wants another piece of the Ferrari here after encounter number 1. Yeah, it was a good fight. It's definitely not done yet though. Will be really spicy, I think, between the pair of them. So I'll be keeping an eye on this for as long as possible. Holtman Dan picks up another time penalty. That's not going to help him. But you see Bretho now really pushing Osgood through here. Osgood on those older medium tyres will not have the grip of Bretho. And down the race behind either. And look at Macedonian. He's gone through down the inside of the second last corner. So really pulling out the moves here, these guys. That's 3 or 4 times now we've seen moves in the last sector where we normally wouldn't. But Macedonian now for P5 on those softs. Bretho's going to try around the outside again of turn 1. Didn't work last time. Not quite close enough this time to really make a presence. Going to look down the inside, and that was an interesting idea of a move. Osgood's going to get pushed wide, and these two are still side by side right on board here because it's a good camera angle. These two going really hard at it. Bretho's going to go around the outside, comes the inside, cuts the corner. This is really aggressive from the pair of them now. Probably too aggressive at this point now. He's now let Macedonian through and down the races through as well. That was probably pushing it a little bit too hard. These three now 3 wide though, which is something to watch. Ninja has to slot in Lajado, put down the race on Bretho. Oh, a bit of contact there. Bretho defending the inside really hard on his Cook, trying to go on the outside. Bretho's got front wing damage, you can see there. I wonder if Cook's got a little bit as well. Can't quite see on that camera angle, but not done yet. Bretho's going to defend the outside. No space there, more contact. So really aggressive from the pair of them. But I think what I would say here is if you want to give it, you've got to take it. More contact. This is now probably not as good viewing as it was at the start. Nick Man's going to slip through as well, through into P6 now. So Bretho now has his teammate between himself and Oscook. That was really feisty from the 3 of them, particularly 2 of them. Lajado gets 3 seconds. He's gone wide in the braking zone. He's going to get a penalty for that, unfortunately, to cut the corner, which is not great. But yeah, everything kicking off here. This is really fiery. Obviously not wanting to give any second thoughts in terms of this race, last race of the season, put it all out on the table. Doesn't look like Honest Cook has damage, so we know Bretho does now, but doesn't look like he's affecting his pace too much. Ninja Penguin having a quick look there into turn 1, probably not quite the place to go though. All that's happened to Macedonian is now pulling in those top 2 on those soft tyres, but they won't be too good for too long. Arjun Superfan in the chat. Next season it'll be early next year, so we're going to have probably a 6 or 7 week break. Actually, it'll probably be a little bit less. Actually, it might be early mid-January. But keep an eye on the Race Spec socials and you'll find out all of that. So I think it will probably be a 4-week break or so. Maybe more, maybe less. We'll see. But it'd be nice to have a bit of a breather and then get right back into Race Spec action. If these guys end up in the same tier again, I definitely won't be complaining because it's been a blast watching them go through this season. Still got 2/3 of a race left to go though, so can't quite wrap things up yet. Looks like Bretho's all over the back of down the racer here now. Not going to be close enough though to make a move, has the DRS, but not going to be able to really throw the nose in. Whereas Honest Cook on the other hand, going to go down inside, not quite going to make it stick. That's a really great camera shot actually. Bretho picks up 3 seconds, probably understeering with that front wing damage. Still right at the back of down the racer though, so he's got plenty of pace still. But he's probably now out of contention for the podium with that damage. That big fight there. You do lose a lot of time fighting other cars. Oh, Honest Cook goes a bit deep. That's going to compromise his run as well. Ninja Penguin all over the back. So really fiery racing from these guys. Honest Cook not looking too strong through there. Ninja Penguin has to back up a tiny bit. That'll be a warning for running wide probably. But Honest Cook looking like he's struggling a little bit for general pace now on those old mediums. So it looks like he might, if he's going to go soft, he'll probably pit maybe this lap. But if he's going to try one stop, he's just going to stay a bit more. Ninja Penguin's going down the inside. Oh, that's not really easy to do at all there. Looks like Ninja Penguin wants to get a move on. He's got a lot more pace, he probably feels. Cuts that corner. Get a warning for that as well. As Honest Cook's can go deep into the hairpin. Ninja Penguin with the switchback. Can he get it stuck? Right on board with Lajado here behind. You get the camera angle nice and close together, the pair of them. Honest Cook has to slot in behind. Meanwhile, Bretho and Dan the Racer have swapped positions as well. Bretho has made the move on the straight, so has now gained another spot back at P4. But has lost a lot of time. Oh, Dan the Racer has to save that. That could have been disaster there. He's going to lose a fair bit of time to Nick Man now. down the straight, but probably using a fair bit of battery to not lose too much time there. But really pushing hard by the looks of things down the racer. Both are now getting through though. Looks like Predictor and Lahardo going side by side through here. This is a nice little battle, and Predictor gets through, so Lahardo looks like he's really struggling as well. We saw him make a mistake that last lap. Oh, Predictor goes a little bit deep there. That might open the door again for Lahardo, but I don't think he's going to be really close enough to throw a nose in. You have to be pretty much alongside to really have any sort of chance of an overtake into there. And it wasn't quite. But Lahardo looking pretty pacey, although he's losing time, so not too sure what's happening there. Maybe just struggling a tiny bit for tyre pace, but it looks like his raw pace is not too bad. Predictor gets a time penalty, lots and lots of time penalties already. Normally we'll see a couple here, really easy to run wide, a couple of really friendly corners to cut, but you obviously want to minimise that because it does hurt you at the end of the race. Closest battle on track is between Nick Man, Dan the Racer, and Nick Penguin's not too far back either, so we might stay with these guys. We might flick to the front guys actually as well if not much happens here, because we haven't given them too much screen time yet. Mofo currently trying to chase down Hold Up Man Dan, but it looks like his pace is pretty good. Macedonian on those softs. I reckon they're definitely past their prime now, so Mofo probably won't have to worry too much about Macedonian behind yet. Lucy's got a quick lap of the race. That's one thing you can take from this race. Not having a great restart there, putting it in the wall. Safety car restart. Still a bit of time though. Nick Man gets down the inside of Dan the Racer. Dan the Racer not quite being able to get the power down. Looks like he's really struggling out of the turn. I think it's turn 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Out of turn 9. So 8 and 9 of the chicane there. Struggling on the power out of turn 9 it seems. Not quite being able to get it down. Honest Crook Ninja Penguin nice and close again. That gap's then closing every lap. And make an overtake and the next person is on for a shout. So really close tight racing here. Can't really afford to make too many mistakes, otherwise you're going to have people snapping on your heels, which is the kind of racing we like to see, high pressure, but also pretty decent quality, minus that argy-bargy we saw a bit earlier. It's probably just pushing it slightly, but as spectators, we're not complaining. Lahardo and Predictor are still going at it. Predictor's possibly just ended up in the wall. I'm not too sure what's happened there. He's gone really slowly, and Lahardo looks like he's struggling a bit as well, so possibly a little bit of contact. I just saw them switch over. Doesn't look like Predictor's got front wing damage, and Lahardo looks okay as well, so possibly a bit of a spin, but not too sure there. Probably won't comment too much more on that. Dan the Race is still on the back of Nick Man, but we might give these front three a bit of love. Honest Crook looks like he's dropped off a tiny bit from Ninja Penguin as well. But anyway, Hold Up Man Dan currently in the lead, 2.2 seconds ahead. That gap is slowly shrinking. But a gap that's not shrinking is the gap from Mofo in P2 to Macedonian in P3. So Macedonian, those soft tyres have definitely passed their prime, and mediums are looking a lot quicker now. Macedonian's going to start falling back to Breatho. So I think if Macedonian can hit this lap, he'll be able to take mediums to the end. Mediums should be able to do 16 laps also, before getting really garbage and punctury. So Macedonian might see him in the pits this lap. 8 laps on the softs is a fair chunk. Because the mediums are definitely quicker. You can see Breatho now here, really closing in now. So Predictor and Lahardo are still going at it though. We're going to watch this battle because it's been kicking off. Lahardo trying to get down the inside of Predictor. Because he managed to get it stuck just. These guys just leave each other enough room, a little bit of contact, but both trying to stay on the track as much as possible, which is the first thing that you should be asking for, and the last thing you should be attempting to do in terms of giving up. So good to see these guys racing within the restrictions of the track. These two looking quite nice. We'll keep an eye on that battle. Looks like Macedonian is finally in the pits though. So off those soft tyres, he'll probably put on mediums to the end. Breatho picks up another penalty, which is going to hurt him at the end of the race. And it is mediums to Macedonian, so he should be able to take those right to the end of the race now. Where is he going to come out? He's going to come out ahead of Lunacy. He's having a boring old race. Is Lunacy. Had another great night. Retired very early in the T3 race he was going to sub in for. And it looks like the pace is okay, but not quite being able to make the most of it. So that last to first not working, last to last for Lunacy. Or last to fourth last considering the DNFs. F1 boy in the chat, hi geezers, how am I? I want to try that sentence again. Yeah, that's okay. Good just having you with the chat. F1 boy, I wonder if this is the same F1 boy in here. Unfortunately didn't have from this race. I see a couple of people in the chat though. In terms of the race, Ninja Penguins managed to get by down the race by the looks of things. Down the race, possibly now really struggling on those medium tyres. I'll just cook behind as well on those old mediums. Oh, it is Arjun still. That's right, I remember that profile picture. My mistake there. Apologies about that. I just figured you'd be on the same account. Superfan still in the chat. I'm probably back in Ferrari, currently P7 and P11, which is not too fantastic. In that constructors fight, Renault will be stretching it a little bit. We'll double check that again just to confirm. So yeah, in terms of the constructors, Ferrari are currently only 19 points clear of Renault. So as it stands, Renault are going to be really close to nicking that. If Predictor can get himself up a couple more positions, then Ferrari could be slightly under pressure in the constructors, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. A couple more guys getting penalties. That will be another one for Honest Cook. Yep, it is. Now, who should we have a look at? Maybe we should look at our championship leader, Macedonian. He's just coming to the pits for fresh mediums. So he'll be making up a bit of ground now. We'll see if he can make some clean overtakes at Lucy's in the pits. He's going to throw in some more mediums. I'm not giving up, which is what we like to see. Well, he's all the way by himself down there. Hortman down and Mofo looking like that gap's really converging. We'll have to keep an eye on that though, as that battle for the lead is now coming really close. Macedonian all over the back of the dipster here, might make a move into the next corner. It's going to be pretty easy, I think, around the outside. Fresh tyres. Predictor's not going to fight him too hard. Predictor might just try and stay in back behind him and let Macedonian pull into Lajardo. We'll see how that all plays out, but we'll divert our attention to the front here because that gap is right in 1 second. So Mofo maybe in striking range soon. In terms of a Race Spec website, not too sure. We are on the social medias, Instagram stuff and stuff, other stuff I believe. I think our primary thing is Discord. I think there's a link somewhere on the YouTube to suss that out, but I don't think Race Spec actually has a website. I will have to check that after the race because I'm curious now. But if you check out the YouTube and the Instagram, Race Spec are pretty active there, and they will have links to any sort of thing getting involved. Is that Macedonian and Lajardo getting nice and close together? Macedonian getting the move on Lajardo now, so made pretty light work of that. Ninja Penguin did hit as well onto fresh mediums. He'll be going to the end. We'll expect to see Honest Cook and Dan the Racer in P6 and P5 each on the 16 lap on mediums. I believe they should be pitting in the next lap or two. Put on softs. I reckon you could probably do 10-11 laps on softs if you really wanted to push them. Ideally 7 or 8, but we will have to go up here because one seat Mofo all over the back of Holtman Dan and through. So I didn't quite catch that one. Mofo now into the lead of the race. Holtman Dan has to give that one up. So Mofo now, he's probably still have to make one more stop, as will I think everybody except for Macedonian and Ninja Penguin and Lunacy. But into the lead. So big there for Mofo, keeping his nose clean and being able to make some nice overtakes. And now leading this race, Holdeman down, what can he do in response? They've got a big gap now back to Retho. It looks at Macedonian Honest Cook now having a side to side. Honest Cook's gone round. That's big there. Perhaps a couple of, maybe a little bit of contact, not too sure. Pipta behind is getting time penalty as well. He's going to be closing in, but that's also big for the constructors because I think now, as it stands, Renault are going to overtake Ferrari for P2 in the constructors. That will probably explain why Lunacy's still in this race because it needs something to happen, but with Honest Cook going off there, that's really big for the constructors because that gap of, I'll double check it again, I think it was it was 19 points. So yeah, Renault were only 19 points behind Ferrari. Now with Renault in P1 and P9 and Ferrari only in P7, that's going to be really big. I reckon Renault might have that wrapped up unless Honest Cook can do something about it. Pinto has Pitt, as has Lajardo, so those two staying with each other for a little bit longer. Honest Cook stays out, as is Dan the Racer. Those tyres are going to be pretty cooked now though. 17 laps on those mediums, I think they'll be in puncture territory. Excuse me, that was a little bit of lawn there. They'll be in puncture territory I think at this point now for Honest Cook and down the races. So they're going to need to probably get in now before that becomes a serious risk. Lucy sets the quickest lap of the race. He's now got pitted to kind of in sight, so possibly a bit of incentive to chase down a car. Macedonian down the race, looking like they're switching over. Macedonian gets round the outside and well ahead before the braking zone. He's now into P5 and doesn't have to pit again for Macedonian. I'm going to pull up the gap to the leader. So Macedonian is 22.9 off the lead now. I think a pit stop is right on about 20 seconds, 21 seconds. So Macedonian and Mofo are going to be really, really close if Mofo decides to pit soon, which it probably will. Maybe one more lap. I think 8 laps and softs is probably the ideal way to go. You could possibly be 9, but I think 8 might be favourable. But that's going to be really, really close between Mofo and Macedonian when they do come in. Macedonian with that time penalty as well. 3 seconds, he's going to have to get that 3-second gap. Then the race comes into the pits, manages to do so properly this time rather than as he did in the qualifying. So race point obviously need a few lessons in taking pit entries. Looks like down the race has made a little bit of progress since last time. 22 seconds right at the top there for Macedonian. Oshook's finally come in as well. So those two now going with the softs, they'll be able to stretch to the end probably. 10 laps will be not the most lovely tire at the end of the race, but it should do them well enough. Lahardo gets through on Crook, but not quite on down the racer, so he'll split the pair of them. Predictor also gets through on Crook. Lucy is not quite going to get his team out, I don't think. No. So Ferrari last and second last, not good at all for constructors. This is just going to hand it to Mofo with Lucy making a mistake on the safety car restart. Plus Honest Crook, we saw having that spin there, possibly due to a bit of contact with Macedonian, but not too sure about that. But yeah, constructors, that could be gone now for them. Now, in terms of the race, the closest gap is actually Lucy and Crook. So the field is fairly spread. Just checking the chats there. So yeah, field's fairly spread, which is not always the funnest thing to watch, but we should see them start to converge as the strategies do play out. So we'll see who can make the most of the clear air, who can gain the time, as Macedonian and Nickman looks like they're having a side-to-side. That's because Nickman's in the pit, so he's pitting now to fresh softs. He's going to be able to do 7 laps. Is that? No, it's 9 laps. So 9 laps on those soft tyres, which should be plenty. Farewell, Velocity fan. Thanks so much for tuning in, not just this race, but plenty of other races. I know the drivers really appreciate having support in the chats. So hopefully we'll see you again in the streams next season. Have a lovely Christmas to you, sir. Superfan Arjun, all the drivers should know who he is now. Great to have your support. But now Nickman onto the race again. Nickman 1.4 seconds behind Ninja Penguin on fresh soft, so he's going to have a lot of pace. 15-second gap ahead to the other half of Macedonian, so probably just out of reach. But P5 definitely on the cards for Nickman. What are the penalties like? Nickman obviously got the penalty advantage anyway, 3 seconds compared to Ninja Penguin's 6. So Nickman on pace P5, which is going to be a good effort for him. Top 5 is always a good result. Now we'll pull up the gap to leader again. 19.5 seconds the gap between Macedonian and Mofo. If you have a look there, 19.4. So as it stands, if Mofo pits, he's going to be just behind Macedonian, maybe just. As he's in now, so this is going to be really important now. Mofo needs to have a good pit stop. He's going to put on the soft, so we'll have the compound advantage as well as the penalty advantage. But track position really, really important in this game. So he's going to have to hope to not fall too far behind. See Macedonian, that yellow fuel light. He's right on the border of fuel as well, so running a light car, that'll be a lot quicker. But I think he's going to get through. Mofo is still in the pit exit there, riding right over the top of him now. And Mofo, oh, he's got damage out of the pit exit. That's a big chunk of front wing gone, and Mofo has now got damage. Oh no. The last to first for him is now taking a slight downward turn. He's still got fresh soft spit. That's the last thing he would have wanted. Really, really dangerous pit entry. We've seen multiple times now drivers crashing on the pit entry, but the pit exit is just as difficult there, going around a corner, and Mofo just trying to cut that as much as he can. Well, I'm sitting here shaking my head. that's one way to pull yourself out of a fight for a win. Nick Mann's all over the back here from Ninja Penguin. Should be able to make a move now. We'll pull the intervals back up. Looks like there's a Ferrari off. Yes, honest crook might have just gone round. We'll check that afterwards, but Nick Mann down the inside. Ninja Penguin gets the move done. Ninja Penguin not being able to fight back now, so honest crook gets a time penalty as well. Or the Ninja Penguin with the DRS now, but not much battery to fight with, is probably not quite going to be able to get close enough. He's not going to be able to do it. Nick Mann really late on the brakes. Fresh soft tyres, you can go so late on the brakes with that extra grip you've got there. So yeah, interesting. So Ninja Penguin in the top 5, and Breatho is going to be close to them as well. Nick Mann now in P4. Did I say P5 for Nick Mann before in terms of positions? I meant P4. My mistake there. Speaking of positions, Mofo with that damage, did mention he would have the grip on those soft tyres anyway, but he's only just hanging on here now. Looks like he does got the tyre advantage, but as those softs get worn, I reckon Mofo's car is going to start getting really poor drive. So I think Mofo, if he's going to make a move now, it's going to have to be now. Does have that 3-second advantage, but that can easily go away with damage and old tyres. So Macedonian will have plenty of tyre life at the end of the race. Those mediums will easily make it with plenty of grip. Breatho and Ninja Penguin on side to side here. We have to flick to this quickly because Breatho gets through now on those fresh softs. But up the front here, what has Mofo got under brakes? He's going to be able to go a lot later, but doesn't choose to make the move yet. Macedonian trying to get a good exit. Mofo gets a little bit slippery on the exit there, almost going off the track. That would have been close to a warning if he had. But now for DRS, Macedonian is going to have to defend. The Mofo's going around the outside. Now can he hold it on the brakes? He's going to. So Mofo now into the lead of the race with that damage though, so we'll have to see what Macedonian can do in terms of fight back. I think possibly for the last lap or two, I think that's when Mofo's really going to struggle. This battle's still going on actually, Ninja Penguin and Breatho. So Breatho gets through into P5, Ninja Penguin P6, so double top 5 for McLaren, which is really good. In terms of penalties, Breatho's got millions, so he's not going to be able to hold that at the end of the race. So Ninja Penguin just stays behind, he will get that P5 back. And actually, at the rate we're going, Breatho's going to lose out down the race as well. With that 15 seconds, yeah. So possibly going to lose a couple of positions, but looking pretty pacey at the moment, Breatho. After a pretty spicy fight we saw earlier on in the race. Makes things fun to spectate. Have a look at this gap at the front actually. Mofo's still got a fair bit of pace in those fresh softs. You can see how much of a tyre difference, how much of an advantage those soft tyres make. Holdeman Dan is now starting to close into Macedonian as well on the fresh softs. So in terms of penalties, Holdeman Dan has one extra penalty. Ninja Penguin picks up 3 seconds. I was going to say, I hope I misread that, and I did. But Macedonian is now going to fall under pressure from Holdeman Dan. He's going to lose out. He will hold it down the inside, getting on the brakes late and gets it stuck, and Macedonian to a switch back, get the traction power down early. It looks like he's got a decent run there with DRS, so he doesn't have much battery to play with, so he's going to have to spend it all. Hold it down. Looks like he doesn't have much either, and he's going to go around the outside. Can Macedonian get the move done? Oh, there's a tiny bit of contact perhaps there, wheel to wheel, but these guys nice and close. Oh, Macedonian's around. A little bit of contact there. Macedonian is doing a nice little pirouette there. Fortunately, he's got a big enough gap behind, but that's probably Macedonian's chance for win gone now. Just a tiny bit of contact there. It's so difficult to go side by side. That corner with those triple chicanes there. You kind of want to go straight through it. It's really hard to kind of get the car turned around them with two next to each other. So unfortunately there for Macedonian, that's going to drop him a bit off the pace now. 5.8 seconds to the lead. That'll probably only grow for the next couple of laps as well. Breatho and Nick Mann nice and close together. They may have had a bit of a scuffle as well. Breatho has just overtaken Nick Mann, I think. It's Breatho now. I'm trying to stretch away, but with those penalties won't be able to hold it. So if Nick Mann can stay close enough to Breatho, we will pull up that. So 15 seconds. So that's going to put Breatho right down to P7 still. So Breatho needs to go, he needs to run. So he can kind of minimise that penalty he's going to have with those calling up penalties. But we've still got 4.5 laps to go. So plenty more still to play out. In terms of the gaps, they have spread a tiny bit, but a couple of guys closing in. Ninja Penguin Looks like he got some decent pace still. Just sticking on the back of Nick Man. Apologies, I'm yawning a lot. That's not fantastic. Early starts not doing me any good. 4 laps left to go. I think Ninja Penguin's slowly closing in on Nick Man, but probably not close enough to really make a battle of it yet. Although if Nick Man's tyres start to go off, that'll make things interesting. In terms of interesting, that gap at the front, 2.2 seconds now is interesting. Not sure if Holden and Dan's quite going to have the pace to close that and make a real meal of it. But you never know. Dan the race picks up a time penalty, so that's not going to help him. He's still probably going to just jump Breatho, but it's going to be a lot closer now. Yeah, it's going to be borderline. It's going to be really borderline, I think, between those two, because Breatho's obviously got a lot of pace. What's the gap now? So 15 seconds, 27. So Dan the race has only got about 2 seconds in hand. So Dan the race is going to need to get a move on if he wants to jump Breatho. Lahardo will be too far back as well, plus with those penalties. So Breatho's going to need to gun it now for the next little while. If he doesn't hang on to P6 and not drop behind P7. In terms of the lead, that gap's actually come down a little bit now between Mofo and Holland and Dan. So Holland and Dan still got a little bit to play with, but he's burnt all of his ERS, and Mofo he's managed to save 30%. Holland and Dan has less than 10, so it's going to be difficult, I think, for Holland and Dan to make a move if he can indeed get close enough. But I mean, you never know. Mofo could easily get a penalty or make a mistake or something. Although with his class he's shown this season, you would back him to bring it home from here. Does have that 3-second penalty in hand as well, so I mean, Mofo does look like he's in control. Holden Dan trying to give him a decent fight. Mastoni is now 10 seconds off. Holden Dan's, he's really struggling on those tyres now. He's going to have Breatho closing in soon, but again, I'm not sure if Breatho's quite going to have the time to close down that gap. Nick Man, Ninja Penguin, that gap's fairly steady as well. Down the race is 5 seconds back. That's going to be close with Breatho. Lahardo 4.3, that stayed fairly even. Predictor. We saw Lahardo and Predictor having a nice little battle as well in that first and second stint. But that looks like it started off Predictor not quite having the pace on the medium tyres to stay with Lahardo. Then the 2 Ferraris, 10th and 11th, which is really, really disappointing for them. In a race where they needed to score some good points to capitalise on their constructors' lead, but they're now going to lose all of that. So yeah, really good drive from the Renault boys. Breatho gets 3 seconds, still like cutting there. Pripta in the points at the moment, and Hotmansik Mofo obviously leading the race. So Renault coming into clutch, nicking that P2 in the constructors, which is, well, in real life it's millions of dollars. I don't think it's quite millions of dollars in this world, but maybe you can print out some Monopoly money and give you some extra or something like that. But yeah, Renault, really, really strong performance. Ferrari really, really disappointing in the end. Honest Cook, he looked to be in the fight for kind of that P6, P7, but making a couple of mistakes, getting involved in a couple of things. It's not helped his case. And then Ludacy, having binned it after the safety car restart, not really had a chance to catch back up again. Got damaged and had to do an unideal strat, plus no other yellows to really get him back any sort of time. So yeah, bad day out for Ferrari. Have a look at this though. Breatho started to really catch Mastonian, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Breatho really try and send it in here. We know he's not afraid to throw the nose in, get some wheelbang going. Nice and deep of the brakes, you can tell he's really pushing. What Mastonian will do in terms of fight. In terms of penalties, Breatho does have 18 seconds now, so that's ultimately not going to keep him on the podium. So maybe Mastonian knows that. He should know that. It does pop up on the driver screen. So Mastonian won't have too much to worry about in terms of losing a podium, but I'm sure he'd much rather actually finish on the podium. A bit more to kind of cheer about there. Holden Dan still kind of sticking with Mofo. That gap's now just under a second, so Mofo possibly making a tiny bit of a mistake there. Maybe just saved a bit of fuel, not too sure. But looking quite nice. Still, but Holden Dan is still right there, so can't afford to really lose focus or anything. Can Mofo yet? We've got yellows. That is for, is that a Ferrari? It's Lunacy. He's not the front wings, he's put it in the wall somewhere. It looks like Breatho and Macedonian have swapped positions. Macedonian having to give up P3 on track, and Breatho's going to take it on those soft tyres. Macedonian, what can he do to fight back? He's got to get a really nice run out of here. He's going to go around the outside. Can Breatho hang on in the braking zone? He should have a fair bit of grip still. 5 lap old softs are still going to be pretty nice. He's going to go around the outside. No, not quite. Not being able to make that move. So Macedonian managing to get that back. But yeah, Breatho looking really pacey, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him close back up again. Mofo's now 14.5 seconds off the lead, so those mediums really not working for him, as Macedonian nice and late at the brakes, starting to feel the heat from Breatho behind, so I'm cooking a tiny bit there. But now to the last lap, Mofo is leading them away. Hotman Dan is in P2 and still within DRS, so that battle is also not over. We might flick to that quickly because they're going to be in the DRS zone first, and that's probably where we're most likely to see an overtake. But Mofo leading this race now, getting through the field, trying that last to first with Macedonian Lunacy. He's going to come out best from it. He's going to actually succeed with it, although not quite last. Close enough to last on second qualifying lap. But looking really, really nice here. Hotman Dan not going to be close enough to make a move. Who is going to be close enough though is Breatho. He's pushing Macedonian through the hairpin here. He's probably going to be able to get done. He's close enough. He's not quite using the battery yet. Macedonian's not quite either. This might come down to the second straight here. See, Breatho is actually going to lift off here. He wants to DRS for the second straight. So he needs to get a good run out of here to make it worth it, because it would really suck if he didn't after giving up that overspeed. I think that's Lunacy going off again, perhaps. Macedonian's actually got a really nice run out of here, and now Breatho dumps the ERS, but it might be a bit too late. He's not quite going to be able to get it done. Late at the brakes, really, really late at the brakes. Bit of a lock up, and he can't quite get alongside. Macedonian is going to hang on for now, but we have to flick to the front here. Mofo, unfortunately, not quite being able to win the championship. His second place is really good anyway. Comfortably in second place, really showing some great progression throughout the season. He's going to win the final race of the season. Fireworks going off. Hotman Dan P2. Macedonian's just going to hang on with Breatho, I think, though. It's going to be really close. Macedonian gets nice and taily. What can Breatho do? He can't really dive it here, or he probably should have lined it up the last corner. Macedonian will just hang on. Breatho putting up a great fight there. Really good to watch him try and close that gap there, but Macedonian takes P3, but the championship more importantly as well. Nick Mann is going to take P4 off his teammate. Great drive there from him. Ninja Penguin on return, P5 takes it from Breatho. Dan the Racer is going to jump Breatho. He is, and he jumps Ninja Penguin as well, so Dan the Racer into the top 5. So great job there from him. Lahar's going to take 8th. Predictor will take P9, and Honest Crook will round 1 point for Ferrari. In a disappointing race, the pair of them, where they are going to lose the P2 in the Constructors fight. P10 for Lunacy, and Lunacy will take P11. Now, I have a special treat for you here. We're going to get the top 3 in the championship in for a quick chat here, which is going to be super exciting hearing from them. I haven't done any post-race interviews this season in this tier, but I think we should have a word with our top 3, congratulate them and see how they thought of this race and the season. So what I'll do is I'll blue screen for maybe 20-30 seconds, get them in the party, and then we'll see what we can do from there. So give us 30 seconds and we'll see if we can deliver this little treat for you guys. So don't go anywhere. Alright, we'll see if these guys join up. So Mofo takes the win ahead of Hotman Dan, ahead of Macedonian, take the podium spots for the finale. Nick Mann down the race, Ninja Penguin. Retho, Lahardo, Predictor and Crook take the points. Honest Crook with the fastest lap as well. Lunacy P11. ASO Rocky, unfortunately, qualifying P2 but not quite been able to capitalise there from Boy retired early. And RD Cheng's also got disqualified out of the lead for putting it in the pit entry, which we saw a couple of guys do, which is a shame. But that'll be it for the race. Let's just see if we can get these guys in. Give us 2 secs.
You didn't show the standings, did you?
Didn't show.
Yeah.
What, the drivers and constructors?
No, just the standings at the end of the race.
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Yeah. Mate, you would doubt me after all these weeks.
I fucking will, mate, I will.
Mate, just get your own stream.
Oh, fuck. I don't think people just want to watch me in the background.
Alright, let's see if we can get our top 3 in the standings. Macedonian is gone and joined the party, but I'll just yell at him through Discord because he doesn't have a mic that works. So once he gets in, we can probably have a bit of a chat. Mopo, did you get in?
Yeah.
Lovely. Might give it 30 more seconds. I'm just going to mute all my Discord things so I don't start pinging. Lucy, you able to get him in? Have you got him as a friend? I don't think I've got him as a friend.
I added him to the chat.
Alright. I'm going to mute the cricket so you do not hear it. I think I had that on before the race. Oh, when I want to mute myself as well. I don't want to hear myself.
Discord. How do you spell hesitant?
Hesitant?
Yeah.
H-E-S-I-T-A-N-T.
No, why he's like, no, I don't even want to go now. He's mocking me. Fuck, you know.
Mate, honestly, didn't you finish school?
No,
you're still in school.
I'm not in school, you know I'm
That's what I thought. You still can't spell. I'm gonna go get the house car and display that because it's a nice car. Alright, let's start this call.
What an absolute...
Mate, you better watch yourself. There we go, alright, let's test this. Alright, test that. I'm going to turn my fan off.
Yes, yeah, I'm here.
What was that? Was that you?
Yes, that's nice. It's Macedonian.
Alright, awesome. Can you hear the party chat and stuff?
Hello?
All I can hear is just you and also myself.
Okay, that's right.
Shit, bro.
He may not be able to hear the two of you. That's okay. It's good to get yours in anyway. Alright, what are we looking for? Showroom. Pass. Alright. Well, I don't really have a set plan for this. I just want to have a quick chat about yours season because we didn't do post-race interviews this week. Well, if you don't want to stay, you don't have to. But I thought I'd offer it to you anyway. We might start with the P3 man in Lunacy. An adventure of the race tonight, and probably a bit of an up and down season as well. But P3, firstly, are you happy with that?
Third place overall is alright. Bit of a roller coaster of a season, but you know, she'll be right. This race? No, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I think we saw you bin it after the safety car, which wasn't fantastic. It was actually really costly because it turns out you guys lost P2 in the Constructors to Renault.
Yeah, bit dodgy.
Bit dodgy. There you go, you've heard it from yourself. Mofo, anything to say about that?
Yeah, just bad luck, mate.
Oh, nah. Just watch out, bro.
Just watch out.
Next season.
Yeah, well, I hope that you guys end up in the same tier again next season because it's been spicy. But I mean, neither of you two individually probably quite had it for Macedonian. Taking out the championship last week. Mofo will ask you. I don't know. He got a pretty decent start, and you came on pretty nicely towards the end of the season. Did you think you had a chance of catching him in the championship?
Yeah, I did probably the last 5 or 6 rounds. I thought I'd been right on top, but unfortunately I made a costly error last week, which pretty much destroyed my championship. And it always seems like I catch him little bits every race, and then there'd just be one race where I just lose a chunk of points and have to start again. So, a bit like Lunacy, a bit of an up and down season, but in the end it was pretty competitive between us three, and I enjoyed racing Macedonia and Lunacy all year. We had some good battles.
Yeah, 100%. You must be pretty happy to come out second all up in what was quite a competitive season. I don't think the gaps between the top 3 quite represent how close it was on track.
Even Suscuss at the end, I thought he made himself a part of the big 4, you could say. He was always consistently up front in the end too. So
yeah, definitely. I did want to ask Macedonia about his team actually, because Suscuss really had a strong last 5, 6, 7 rounds particularly, really threatening for race wins and stuff. So that definitely helped them secure their, I think it was like a 150 point lead in the constructors as well. It definitely was a really close fight. So congratulations to the 2 of you for coming out 3rd and 2nd. And I might throw it to our number 1 man, Macedonian. Rounding out the drivers and the constructors, must be pretty happy about that. Macedonian.
Yes, I'm very happy with that. It's good having Suscuss as a teammate. He had a really good push towards the end of the season, but thoroughly enjoyable. Yeah,
I think a testament to your consistency and racecraft that you managed to just get points every week regardless of really what happened. We saw like you didn't necessarily have the cleanest of runs every week, but you managed to kind of get your head down and still come out with top 3s, top 5s in races where you could have easily not scored. So I think that's probably helped you gain that lead in the Drivers' Championship. So you must be pretty happy about just being consistently right there every week.
Yeah, definitely. Ironic being in a Huss, which doesn't really reflect in real life, I guess. But I've sort of come to a strategy where, keep it clean, and it sort of puts you up the grid when everyone else has penalties. So I think I won about 2 or 3 races like that. So I might have to change it next season as I'm going to try to go to Tier 3. But nonetheless, I think my speed was pretty good with the other boys.
Yeah, 100%. We could see that on track, and for me on the stream as well. You were always a factor regardless of the position. In terms of battling Mofo and Lunacy, how'd you find that? It looked pretty enjoyable from my point of view, but how'd you find it?
Yeah, it's always good being with them too. And also at the start of the season, I had some good tussles with BMAC. I don't know what happened to him. I was pretty disappointed not to have some battles with him. But I was definitely up there with Lunacy and definitely Mofo. We've put our intentions to be teammates for next year in Tier 3. Hopefully it pushes us to become better. So hopefully that eventuates.
There you go. You've heard it there first. That would be a really strong team. Lunacy, you might have to go out and do some recruiting, I think. See if you can match it with them. Assuming the 3 of you will probably stay together, which I think you will, considering the competitiveness between the 3 of yous. But yeah, congratulations on winning that championship. Plenty of wins, plenty of podiums, so superb job, and I'm sure we'll see you around next season. Macedonian, so congrats again.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you very much to Race Spec for putting on a great tournament. Being in Melbourne, stuck in lockdown, it's got me through some pretty hard times. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, Melbourne represent. But nah,
that's it, mate.
Super job. Anyway, it's good to have league racing still on in all of it. So, any last things you'd like to say for the millions of fans watching the stream right now?
I wouldn't know about millions, but thanks for tuning in, and hopefully you can tune in next season to T3, where hopefully you see me, Mofo and Lunacy.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with all of that. How about the two of you, Mofo, Lunacy?
Sorry, what was that?
I just asked the other two. Anything else to say?
Yeah, well done to those two boys, Mofo and Lunacy. Have a really good Christmas and New Year, and we'll be having some really good battles next season in T3, hopefully.
Awesome stuff. All right, thanks so much. Have a good evening, mate, and we'll see you on track next season. Take care, mate.
You too, and thanks for the commentary, Botcott. Very, very nice work.
No worries. Makes it really easy with the show that you guys put on. So, super job. Take care, and we'll catch you later.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
There you go. Heard it from number one man. Mate, I'm not even going to ask you, Mofo, anything else to say?
No, just thanks to you for putting on a good year in commentary. You've done good all year. It's always good watching the stream back with your commentary because you catch everything pretty much. So it's good having someone that can do that. And yeah, to Race Spec, good season. Unfortunately, the numbers got a bit low late in the year, which is a bit disappointing. But hopefully next year, one who says they're going to race races all season long.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, big shout out to Race Spec, and as I said to Macedonia, makes it easy to commentate on when you guys are driving as you are. And we might leave it there, unless you have something to say, Lunacy, something productive.
Nah, get out of here.
Alright, there we have it. Hotman Dan in the comments as well. Superb drive for a podium tonight. We'll give him a shout out as well, and appreciate the compliments on the commentary as well. Had a lot of fun streaming these races, but we might call it there. Might wind up the stream. Thank you so much again for tuning in, everybody. It's been a cracker of a season. Superb championship fight. Really enjoyed tuning into all these races. If you'd like to see replays, then go suss out the Race Spec YouTube channel. They'll all be there, minus a couple which I unfortunately bailed on due to other things, but they should all be there, all the other ones, so make sure you check those out, as well as the other tiers. I think you've got 4 other Pacific tiers plus the Euros Americas. We've got F2 Global and Elite as well, all throughout the week for Race Specs. Make sure you check out as much of that as you possibly can. All good content in there. In terms of next season, not too sure when it starts. We're probably going to have a 4 or 5 week break, would be my guess. Sometime in January would be my assumption for the next season. So make sure you keep an eye out for the Race Spec socials there, which will have all the information you need. But we'll wind it up there. Thank you so much once again for tuning in. Signing off, Bod Hod. Then we got Macedonian, Mofo and Lunacy as well, special guests in the commentary booth. Have a lovely evening, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll catch you all for next season's action. Thank you so much.